Okay, today we're going to be swatching out these Lindy's Magical Shaker set. And I have separate little palettes over here. And we have Bring the House Brown, uh, Ears Looking at You Olive, which is this one, Roll in the Hay, Cafe Terrace Tangerine. And I'm showing you next to them because you can see this looks pink, but it really is going to be tangerine. And the last is Portrait Blazer Blue. So first I'm just going to swatch these out. A thing I love about these compared to Brusho, which I've used before, a couple things. One, Brusho is really saturated colors, where these have a little more versatility, in my opinion, for me to use within my work. The other thing I think is really cool is that these come with this little shaker top already built in, and you just snap it off. You just have to be careful not to do what I did and then tip it on your paper and the cap comes off and everything. But if you just hold it, I suppose you could glue it down as well, but it works okay if you just hold the top on. The other thing I have here is a spray bottle, so we'll see if I can do this without getting it all over, but let's just pump a couple of splashes of water into each. And you can see a little bit of color goes a long way. And you can see that they also have more than one color characteristic. So we'll get different effects when we just mix them versus when we splash them onto their paper. And we have the tangerine. I'll try to get it kind of heavy and then just add a little bit of water just so that you can kind of see the range. Okay. Next, let's go with the Portrait Blue. Portrait Blazer Blue. It's a pretty color. Just thinning it out a little bit. And you can see they have some pretty cool properties, almost like a granulating paint. Okay. This, I believe, is the Roll in the Hay, which looked green, but then when you mix it, and I had a lot more pigment in here, so you can see it's going to go on a little heavier. But you can also see from these swatches, if you've ever used Brusho, that these colors, they're kind of usable colors, really. And even though they look like watercolor ink, they really don't behave that way. This is a very thin watercolor. It's kind of cool. That was the Ears Looking at You Olive. And last we have Bring the House Brown, which is full of a lot of different colors. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up, but has a bit of a purpley hue to it. I was just seeing if I kissed that green, and you can see it behaves like a watercolor, follows the water as you'd expect. So there are her colors. So now let's just have some fun, and let's go ahead and I'm just going to give my paper a slight dampness. And it actually had a little bit of pigment that had splashed over on here, but that's okay. And you could do a couple things. We could, and I'll do both here, but you know, you could do the old just splatter, and it's what you'd expect. I'm going to paint a little crab on here. Really quick crab. We'll get this going. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do a little no sketch crab here, and I'm just going to use some of this paint that we just mixed up. Kind of just get the shape going. Got some legs. Little pinchers. Sorry for any crab experts. I don't know what the official names for any of these parts are, but I think it'll be a-okay. I'll include my reference photo in the video playback. But hopefully it's starting to look like a crab. Okay. I'm not going to be super realistic to the photo because we're not doing a sketch. So we're just trying to see what these colors are going to do. Compared to a watercolor, my comment would be that they're very watery, and it could just be that I added a lot of water as I was spraying. So you don't really get a lot of control, but I think that's kind of part of the fun, is just be crazy with them and kind of see where it takes you. And they don't really lift, so you kind of get what you get. I guess I should mention you could mix them if you wanted as well. So if you wanted your orange to be a little more yellowy, you can add that hay to it, and they do play pretty nicely. So if I were to show you that, it is a mix of those two. And in the same respect, you could add a little bit of blue to the yellow, and you would get a version of a green. Although kind of hard to mix in these bowls. Greenish, which is kind of fun. And it's, of course, doing that on the paper here. So my crab is looking crazy and a little out of control. So you can see that they kind of explode, which is, again, part of the fun. If your paper was very wet and you dropped it on, let's see if I can show you that with this. Yeah. So you can see it just kind of busts open, just like brushes. But again, I like these. I like the texture a little more. It's not as crazy as the brushes. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll come back. Maybe what I'll do is some ink on top of this so that we can get just a feel for the crab. Hey, I'm back. So after it dried, it was pretty dark. So adding more of the Lindy's on top, I wasn't really getting the value that I was looking for. So I just went in with my lamp black Daniel Smith watercolor. And I just gave it a little bit more of a value where it needed. So anyway, it's not like it's going to be hanging on a museum wall, but it was kind of a fun little exercise to challenge myself and say, what if I just throw a bunch of stuff down there? What will I get? And it was kind of fun. Some of the areas actually worked out like a highlight. So happy accidents maybe, or when I put down that first layer, I was kind of being somewhat careful. And my proportions weren't that bad considering I had no sketch. So anyway, if you want to be crazy and have some fun with these powdered inks, then or powdered watercolor, then I do suggest you pick up some of these Lindy's. Also, their customer service was really awesome. I inadvertently ordered the wrong item and they were super great and understanding about it and exchanged it for me, kind of no questions asked. So anyway, oh, I failed to mention I did do a little ink drawing with Micron number 8 as well. So anyway, that's all the details I have. I hope you were entertained by this crazy little project we did. And if you're curious about the paints, give them a try. If you like this video, I always appreciate a like, comment, and let me know what you think. And feel free to subscribe. I would love to have you. Thanks.